Well, as she said, I am going to be speaking about the migration to SIS Lucene indexing and searching for the SIS suite of Data Harmony. I'll give first a brief explanation of what SIS is. It is a XML-based database system used to store user data, and all the records within SIS are stored within individual XML files. If you have 3 records, they'll each be 3 XML files, and so forth. There's also the option to zip them up into your own zip file for easy transfer. The data within SIS is stored in docsets, which are analogous to a table for those well versed in a SQL database format. In docsets, you can also have subfields within a record without having to do things like create foreign keys. And it is also possible to be able to look up valid lists of values from other docsets and other tables within a field inside a docset. The other way of storing SIS data is a table that just stores a single list of values, and it can be referenced by other docsets as well. It's good for storing things that are very simplistic in nature, like, for instance, a list of countries, for example, or a list of cities, or so forth. To create a SIS project, you start out by creating a DTD file for the SIS project, and you do that by specifying your docset and your tables that you want to include, as well as the fields for the docset. And you can also specify the length of your IDs. So if you anticipate having a large number of records, you can set it as high as 7 or 8 or 9 digits, so forth. Each record ID for SIS is usually displayed with its number followed by however many zeros as padding for the length of the record ID. And once you're done creating that DTD, you would store it in the your DH server projects XML folder, and you would actually create the data to be stored itself under the DH server data folder. You would create subfolders underneath for every single doc set that you established in the DTD, as well as create your tables within a tables subfolder. And SIS projects can only be created by administrators. Now, to start a SIS project, well, of course, you would have to start Data Harmony server itself, and then you would log into the admin module, where you would have to start the thesaurus. SIS requires a thesaurus to run, and you would have to start that as well. Then you start the SIS project afterwards, and you would index it if you felt the need from that point. It's especially a good idea if you just created your SIS project to go ahead and index it. Then from there you would run your start SIS program, and then you would enter the server name, the port, the thesaurus that it's linked to, and the username and password to log in. This shows you what it looks like to index a SIS project. And you would select the project that you want to that you want to either start or stop or index, and you would go to the sys project list, and to actually start it you would click on start and restart project, and this is for re-indexing the project. And when you do that, it will bring up a window with all the docsets that you established, and you can click check boxes on the ones that you want to index. So you can index all of them or just index one of them, or however many you feel like. This is the sys login screen, and this includes your project name. These are the folders it's located in. This is the thesaurus that goes with it. You don't necessarily have to use a thesaurus, but it has to at least be linked to one for a sys project to run. Sys does have an MAI function for fields where you can click on an MAI button and it will index the field for you, but it's not a requirement unless you create an MAI field. And then the name of the server and the port. And then after that, it'll ask you for your username, password. And once you've done all that, it will bring you to your project view window. And this will list all your docsets and all your tables. The docsets have more options with them. You can search them, and this actually shows a field view of your docset, which we'll get to in a moment. And for tables, all you can do is just add or take away table values. And in fact, if you don't want people to be able to mess with your tables, you can even specify in the DTD to hide them from customer view if you want. So having tables here is completely optional if you don't want people messing with your table values. And this is what a docset looks like with all its established fields and so forth. And I picked this one because it's got a lot of good examples of the types of fields you could have. Of course, you can have the single name text field, and you can have fields that are a list of values, like this one here. And this right here, this is what subfields look like. When you double click on one of these values in here, you can open up a separate window on top of it, which has all the subfields that you defined. And if you don't define it as a subfield, it just appears as a list of values. So this is what a list of single values looks like versus actual subfields in action. Oh, and I forgot on the previous window, it also shows your ID, and since I defined this particular one have 7 digits, it has 6 zeros worth of padding. This is what a table view looks like. It's all very simple, just a single list of values, and you can go in and add, edit, and delete whatever values you like. And as mentioned before, the sys records are saved in XML files, and the file format is the name of the docset followed by the ID itself, and then the fields are listed inside the record itself in the order that you established them. They'll have the standard XML start and end tags. However, for their subfields, they will be nested within whatever field you defined as the parent field. this is what the search view looks like, and it's the main topic of my presentation actually today, because it's going to be converted over to use Lucene. It'll look exactly the same as this, but it'll function somewhat different. And as you can see, it has operands here that you can pick and choose to perform searches. This includes and, or not. This includes all your fields that are searchable, by the way. That's defined in the DTD. If you don't set them up as searchable, then they will not appear here. And these are some more operands. This is if the word is in the field, happens to appear in the field value. This is exact, and then this is less than or greater than. And down here you can specify all the fields that you want to appear in your search results, which we'll get to in the next slide. And this is what a search looks like. It'll have all the fields that you selected, separated by dashes, and it only shows 50 at a time per page. And by double clicking on one of these results that pops up in the window, you can bring up the actual record that it came from. And you can even do a sub-search within those results. Okay, the way SIS currently indexes things is that it uses text-based indexes, which create a separate list of files for each field that you actually have indexed. It'll generate a temporary file which it stores and fetches the results. It uses the random access file search. It has a very much more limited amount of search operands than Lucene, and it doesn't really take numerical values into account. The reason we're switching over to Lucene is because it's a lot cleaner and smoother. There are fewer index files needed. In fact, you don't need a separate index file for each individual field. You can put them all into one Lucene index, and it's much cleaner and smoother, and a lot fewer files sticking around. And Lucene can be used to search the files right then and there. You don't need to generate any temporary files for storage to fetch your results. It allows for broader searches, such as fuzzy matching, otherwise known as Levenstein distance, and it also has start and end wildcard searches. And of course, it's a lot better picking up on numerical and date fields. As long as the field is formatted correctly, Lucene actually seems to know. And it can even be, the index can even be utilized to leave out stop words if you want to. The process will work as follows. You'll create an index reader to perform the search. This is of course all done within the code itself. The sys search will look exactly the same to the end user. It will submit a query string containing the fields and parameters to search for, and then it returns the results. And since this will be used to overhaul the entire sys index, it will also apply to adding, updating, and deleting records. And the indexes will be housed on the Data Harmony server just like the originals will. And I guess that's it, unless there are any questions.